In a world with entirely too many shows about cars, this is another pointless automotive podcast.
Hello, Chadwick.
Double fisting. What's up, Frank? Welcome back to another Pointless Automotive podcast. Friends,
Hi.
it's been a while. It's been a week since we talked last.
It's been.
Yeah. 1 week since we talked about cars.
Yes, pretty much. And we are back at it again. Thank y'all for joining us. Chadwick, it seems like you've been good. You've got an appropriate attire on for today. I see a Chevy bow tie on your knee there. Will you tie us in to what we're going to talk about today? What are we doing?
Absolutely. So this is an old favorite of ours. Automotive Would You Rather. This is volume 3 for those following along for that continuity.
Yeah.
This is a little game we play. Would You Rather is obviously known, but we kind of get extreme on this. Sometimes we do pleasant ones where it's win-win, not often. Usually it's pretty horrible scenarios, and we have to choose which one we would prefer and then defend it, which is probably the hardest part, right? Because we have some weird opinions, basically. So
yeah, and then even weirder would you rather questions at times.
It gets all the way weird, man.
It gets sticky icky. Yeah.
So I want to kick it off with a pretty tough one for you, Frank.
Oh boy, just double barrel right out. Hold on, let me crack my not a beer. There we go. And in preparation for this anvil you're about to drop on my head.
No wading into the water here, cannonballs only. So I call this one, and I'd like to give titles to my scenarios. So maintenance hell. So this is your car, your daily, your only car. You cannot get around this. Every 5,000 miles, you need to change the timing belt. Or change the gauge cluster. And this requires most of the dash being removed and put back together.
Boy, do I get to pick? Man, and I don't get to pick the car. I guess it could just be fundamentally, it doesn't much matter.
Yeah, some are definitely easier than others in each regard, but basically you're stuck with one of these.
I suppose I have to go timing belt, and the reason being
every 5K
is I feel like I would eventually get like really good at doing the timing belt water pump service and just like being able to kind of knock it out in like 30% of whatever the book time of this farcical automobile would be.
Right.
You know what? Okay, so let me finish that thought and then move on to the pitfall with this. So yeah, I think the time, like, because otherwise doing the timing belt water, yeah, like, okay, I can get good at doing it, knocking it out, and instead of it being, say, a 6-hour job, I get it down to 2.5 hours, and look how cool I am, right?
Right.
The thing versus doing something like having to pull a cluster and like, you pour holy water on it or do whatever the procedure is to then put it back in and put my dash all back together is I feel like there's about a 50% chance of every single time I do that, I break something within the dash or the surrounds or like the harness, the pigtail that plugs in, and then it's like there's more that I think that can go awry. However, one thing I just thinking out loud here is at one point when I get complacent, like, oh, I'm so good at doing these timing belts and and then one time I screw it up, and
on
so like
interference
at 35,000 miles when I'm doing my 7th freaking timing belt job.
I love this one.
Of the past 18 months, like, oops, I screwed it up and now I need a motor. Versus like, oops, I screwed up and like now my dash is a little squeaky and rattly. Like, I don't know. That's a tough one. I still think I'm going to stick to my guns and say timing belt, but I'm not happy about it.
Yeah, none of these are happy scenarios. I'm with you, man. I actually like doing a timing belt. And the other thing to think about with gauge cluster is I can't repair it myself, so I'm shipping it off, and then I'm waiting for turnaround. So that sometimes in itself is a freaking nightmare. E30 BMW comes to mind in the scenario where I would do that timing belt 10 times for every gauge cluster removal. I would love that scenario. But yeah, dude, it's lose-lose, but I'm with you. Timing belt is probably the way to go.
Yeah, it's I don't I don't like your question. I mean,
Yeah,
I accept it and I take it. It's part of the game.
yeah, that's how
I'm
we.
down to
That's
clown, so it's all fun. It's all good. But
that's just starting off. All right, I'll kick it. I'll kick it over to you, man. What do you got for me?
um, you know what? I'm going to start with maybe a softball one, and I feel like
Oh,
we've kind of touched on this question super lightly in the past, but not really.
okay.
I'm just going to come at you, and maybe your hoodie is going to give it away, but
Mm.
Camaro or Firebird, dude? Just overall, Camaro or Firebird?
The hoodie doesn't give it away because Firebird, man.
Mm,
It's always been the like spicier looking one, and I love
sure.
Pontiac's add-on body cladding. I like, dude, fire chicken on the hood. These are all pros for me. I actually like the WS6 looked amazing to me with the big
Yeah.
nostrils and just the way it looked. Yeah, got to go Firebird, man.
I think I'm there. I mean, there's notable exceptions. Like, I very much prefer the first, generation 67, 68, 69 Camaro than the Firebird.
Fair enough.
Um, the second gen stuff, the 70s cars. I'm kind of a toss up. I think the Firebird is probably more popular
Yeah,
based on the Trans Am stuff and the Smokey and the Bandit and all that stuff. I'm a little bit more on the fence. I like Spicoli's, the one Spicoli Rex,
yeah.
the Z28 Camaro. I think it was an 81 or an 82 that he wrecks in I go 80 or 81. Regardless, I kind of go back and forth, but I generally agree. And I those WS6 Firebirds, I feel like those should be worth more. Those were so cool and they were so
Dude,
unique with the nostrils and the ram air, and they were so gaudy.
they're getting there though. Those things used to be 6, 7, 8,000 bucks for a decent example. You can't find one of those under 15 right now. It's wild. They've
Yeah,
kind
but
of
what's
jumped
wild
ahead.
is like that's kind of the same as like what an Integra GSR would pull. Probably even more. Those are more valuable, and I would say that the WS6 is a more interesting car, and I like those GSR Integras, but like
But the comp
there's a lot from that area that is like appreciated a lot. The
yeah.
WS6 cars they've appreciated, but like unless it's like an SLP Firehawk or you've got all the special stuff and it has no miles, like
Yeah, but at that price point, dude, a realistic comp for the WS6 is like a C5 vet, and that's like arguably the better performance car in every
yeah,
metric.
it is, but
But
it's kind of less
it's the
special.
same price.
But it's kind of less special.
I'm
Like
just saying
so many of
though.
those Camaros or so many of those C5 vets, the base ones, where
Oh,
a lot of them were automatics, and
but the
because they
Z06,
were there, they were kind of like
Z06.
they weren't abused as to the same extent. Now, plenty of them were abused, but like every WS6 Firebird had the balls beat off it. And you know what I mean. That's not what I meant.
I know what you mean.
Trouble you with a good time. But I feel like those were far more abused, and like a lot of the C5 Corvettes were, the California car dusted at the local car meet and only put 1,000 miles a year on it by the old head that drives to the golf course and back.
Fair
But
enough.
I agree. I think I'm with you. I think I would also go Firebird.
Firebird, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
win-win in that scenario.
yeah, yeah.
This
Hard to lose.
this one is no longer forbidden fruit.
Ooh.
So you have full access to Euro market makes and models, current and historic,
Yeah.
or you have full access to all JDM makes and models, current and historic. You can legally own, drive, no registration hurdles, none of that stuff.
Boy, this is hard, I think harder than it should be. Um, because I think like by like sheer number of vehicles that we didn't get out of Japan would want me to go in that direction.
Uh-huh.
Because every K car, all of these weird cars that we never got, that were JDM, and then even cars that we did get, but the weird JDM versions of those cars, like your S13, S14, 240SX / Sylvia,
Right.
that we never got, all kinds of stuff, all the Japanese vans that were incredible, all the weird diesel trucks and stuff that we never got. But then you go to Europe And there's like a mountain of truly, truly special cars that we just never got. So probably fewer interesting stuff, but just truly interesting stuff like a Lotus Carlton
Yeah.
would be so dope.
A
Like
Megane,
kind of an incredibly special
a
car.
Megane Clio trophy. Some, there's tons
Yeah,
of
Clio
patches.
V6
Yep.
is an incredibly special car, and something that there's no analog for it here.
Oh.
RS 2000, all of the weird Ford Europe stuff.
Escort
Um,
Cosworth. Mm.
yeah, even stuff that's like not that special but would be cool, like a, a Fiat Multipla, or any of the interesting um, Mercedes stuff that we never got, or even specs thereof. So like, just all the stuff that we never got with manual transmissions that like were majority manual transmissions over there, or like the Euro bumpers and headlights on the 80s stuff. I think I have to go JDM just because K cars and just there's stuff that we never got, and there's whole like categories of vehicles that we never got, like K
Right.
cars and just goofy stuff like a Nissan S Cargo, or just all. I'm a fan of the weird.
Mm.
I think Europe got more of the really cool stuff, and Japan had more of the really weird stuff. And I have to skew weird. I think I'm gonna go JDM. And I haven't even mentioned stuff like the ST205 Celica All Tracks that I'm mildly obsessed with. Whatever R34 Skylines, the truly special stuff. I'm gonna go JDM.
Yep. Absolutely.
So I have a question for you, sir. We're gonna go a little different than the last one.
I wanted to clue you into how I felt about the JDM versus Euro market.
Oh yeah, please tell me more.
The reason being is, yeah, you're right. The European has a lot of weird stuff. So you get all the French stuff, which is super cool. They had some wild looking stuff and some pretty significant hot hatches. You get the old variants of the E30s, the Lotus Elise variants that were affordable. How cool would that be to get?
Yeah.
But I had to go JDM because, yeah, there's the mainstays. Like we can get the older Evos, the older STIs, which I think are so cool. Celica All Track STO 205, which is like on our list, always been since Sega Rally. It's kind of hard not to say no to that. But I think JDM wins out too, just because there's so much cool stuff. There's like the variants we never got, like the spicy stuff, like for me, like a Pulsar GTIR or something super cool like that.
Or just something totally like a Nissan Rasheen, just like weird stuff. You're like, what? Like
weird
I don't
stuff and viable performance
Mazda
stuff.
Bongo.
Yeah, so I think I'm the same way, man. That would be a cool like free pass to have that. Like either one of those, either one you're winning. So
yeah, see, if we lived in Montana or someplace, we can just own whatever we want.
Yeah, we still have to import it and all that crap, but just to have it free of charge, and God, that's perfect.
There we go. The season pass. Okay, so I've got one for you. We'll change it up a little bit. And this one you're going to get three. You're going to get a choice of three. It's a triple. Would you rather?
Opportunities.
From now until the end of time, on all of your vehicles, no matter what they might be, you have to choose one of these to replace your steering wheel. The Tesla Model Plaid yoke, motorcycle handlebars, or an N64 controller. But it's not like you have to use it like an N64 controller. So
single analog stick.
Yeah. No, it's you're sitting in the seat and you're holding an N64 controller. Like it's got the little cord, like it's free.
Oh man.
You're just controlling the car like you're via the N64 controller, which I think, in my opinion, is the sneaky best controller of all the gaming systems.
No, PlayStation, man.
Underrated.
PlayStation was way more ergonomic. But here's the first off, N64 controller. You'd have to have like a 5-point racing harness tightened all the way down because you'd be moving. You have no steering wheel to center yourself on. That would be super fun. I don't like the Tesla yoke for regular getting around driving. I think the Tesla yoke works. Motorcycle handlebars would be cool if the steering ratio changes with the cars. If not, I don't know what hand over hand with a motorcycle rack looks like. Yeah, this is tough. I do all the idea of do you get to rev though?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah, you go. If you can, and you have. I will leave it up to you if you want to also have a gas pedal or like a hand throttle, and then same with like you have like double clutch control, so you can either foot clutch or you can use the hand clutch.
Okay.
Up to you. Up to you.
Oh, dude, I think motorcycle is the fun way to do this, but I think the practical one is Tesla. I got to go with the yoke, which sucks in its own right, and it's not really a functional steering wheel. But I don't know how motorcycle. Also, the interior space you need to grab handlebars and slam around your car.
Oh, you can go like cafe racer, like little bars, you know.
I mean, for certain cars, I could see it in a Miata being fun, but imagine driving like a big SUV with motorcycle controls, like an Escalade or something. I guess just for pure functionality, Tesla yoke, but the other ones are super fun.
Have you considered the implications on ghost riding your whip with the N64 controller?
I mean, that's freaking awesome. Or just like
you're just standing outside with the cord coming out, and you're just like sitting there, or sitting on the roof or something.
It's like a Mr. Bean move. But you could also hand your controller right to your passenger too.
Exactly.
Useful. Oh, that's extra scary. Do you get the rumble pack?
Oh, definitely the rumble pack. No memory card though. You don't get to save. You don't get to save your, before you go hot into a corner, do like a quick save.
So like when you hit something, the rumble pack's going at the same time for insult to injury.
Yeah, exactly. Rumble strip and rumble pack. That's absolutely it.
Cool. Yeah, that's how I'm doing it. How about you, man? I know you're going N64 controller. I can see it in you. I can see it in your heart.
I would do N64 controller just because. Just imagine how baller you would be pulling up to any Cars and Coffee or anything, and people are like, "What the hell?" And you're just like controlling it with your N64 controller. Like that would be the most unique mod of all time.
Absolutely frightening.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Disastrous in many ways.
I'm going to assume all the cars
profoundly dangerous.
I think for the N64, you integrate all the other functions of the car into the controller too, like radio control, cruise control, brakes, or like
using like the Z trigger on the bottom for, I don't know, your windshield wiper squirters. Like there's a lot of things that you can do with it.
Damn,
but yeah, I'm N64 all day.
Oh boy. Okay,
what you got for me, dog?
Really dangerous. This one's called Welcome to Malfunction Junction.
Oh boy, okay.
You have a couple great choices here, Frank, that you have to assert your reasoning on. So you can either have your heated seats stuck on 24/7 on the highest setting.
Okay.
Or constantly have a brake dragging sound. No damage, just the super loud sound of brakes dragging. And guess what? They're so loud your radio can't cover them. That's a caveat. And they're even louder outside your car. Would you rather? Which one of those?
So I'm generally team heat seater on, AC on.
Mm-hmm. Full heat seat though.
Sure. Yeah. And another thing is I don't intend to have any more children, so I'm okay.
Heat up those testicles.
Sous videing my ball bag, so to speak. Because that might, who knows? Maybe it would be an added form of birth control.
Maybe.
Not girth control. That's a totally different thing. Yeah. But as far as birth control is concerned, that's an added. That's not a bug. It's a feature. B, I would be I'm generally fairly comfortable with a warm backside and or genital package, but a nice cold exterior, like having the AC going. Versus I think nothing would haunt my dreams more than a constant brake dragging, wear indicator noise combo meal. And yeah, I think I would. Let's boil these boys. Let's go heat full bore on the seat.
Something to think about though, like in the winter, you're not going to want to have your AC on, so you're going to have like the full heat orchestra. And this is not a mild.
Yeah, well then I can just turn the AC off, but I would still be boiling the boiling the
it doesn't stop.
situation.
Yeah, even in the summer before that AC catches on, you'll be like 100.
Yeah, it'd be touch and go for a little bit. I mean, if it's really that bad, I suppose I can let the car idle for 5 minutes with the AC on, which is very inconvenient. But
if you have to wear khaki pants, you're gonna have like that rooster tail the whole time.
definitely, yeah, the internal snail trail, if you will.
The sweat indicator.
Yep.
For me though, I got to go brake dragging. I hate it. I hate that sound, but I literally cannot stand to be uncomfortably hot. I'm way more cold climate oriented. I just couldn't stand to have my junk being boiled. Like, think about this. Let's go on a 5-hour road trip. You are not sweating it the whole time.
I mean, my junk tends to run hot regardless.
Right.
So it's really more it's really more like calibrated to my own personal lower extremity temp.
I don't think I could live with it. I would think I would get so frustrated. You can't put a pad underneath. You're not allowed to do that or any of those other things. No ice pack. Yeah, no. Right. Well, depending on your cycle.
Sure.
But no, it's a horrible choice. That's why I picked that one. But I think I got to go with the brake dragging sound.
Can't do it.
I think I've driven with shit boxes enough so I can overcome a lot of.
Oh no, for sure. It's a sound I'm used to. I just don't like it. It's like interior squeaks and rattles. Like I just they just drive me crazy.
It's worse. Yeah, I picked that one because if it was something mild like a rattle, we all deal with that. But the sound of brake dragging is so loud, and outside the car, everybody's gonna be like, "What the fuck?" What's wrong with this guy?
Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
So instead, I'm going with nuts dragging, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Oh boy, how do I pivot off of that into another question?
Sweatily.
I've got one, and you're gonna have to bear with me for a second because I know absolutely nothing about your father.
My fascia.
But you, Chadwick, need to drive back to Maine to beat up your dad. Okay? Do you drive either a black on black Viper GTS with no stereo? Seems like a proper, like, badass, malintended vehicle that one would go take to go assault their father. Like, I don't know a whole lot about Greek mythology, but I have to assume that there's some sort of like Greek mythological tale of like beating up your dad. I don't know why, but it feels like canonically reasonable. And I feel like a black on black Viper GTS with no stereo whatsoever to drive from California to Maine seems about right. Or a new Lexus LS with adaptive cruise control.
Ooh, the way more comfortable ride, better on fuel.
Yeah, it would. I suppose maybe it would depend on why one drives across the country to beat up their elder. Because it's just like, do you want to stew in your own like rage in the Viper, or do you want to just like take the coward's way out and go the comfy Lexus LS with adaptive cruise?
Oh, it's a tough. When my dad was still with us, he was a $500 car guy most of his life. So I think either one of those cars would come across as really nice. And plus he'd be in his 60s now. So I don't really need to intimidate him too much, even though there's like this thing where we still have a fear of our dads, even though I was like at one point way bigger than him. Man, that's a tough one. I think if it's cinematic, we take the Viper. Sure. Because that's the way to do it. But yeah. God, that ride quality would suck over that. That's a long drive.
And no radio.
Yeah, I mean,
and no radio. But that might be the fuel you need to assault someone you love. You know what I mean? Versus, and the genesis of this question is no, I've never beat up my father, nor do I have any intent to drive any distance and assault my father. But I had a buddy who was in high school who he drove from straight shot from the Bay Area to like southern Texas to beat up his dad. And he did straight shot. It was like, I think 20 hours of straight driving in a Dodge Neon. A second gen Dodge Neon.
That's rage inducing. Yeah.
Yeah. And just like listening to various CDs, because this was the era of compact discs. And it was an interesting life choice on his part.
Well, maybe I could change it to like slapping my mom in the face or something equally.
That seems I don't know. That seems
more personal.
Yeah, I don't know. It's regardless. I don't know. But
I'd go, yeah, you know what? I'd go Viper just to get
doing it.
Yeah, it'd probably be more fun too. More engaging.
Well, think about it. It would actually be more engaging for like the memes. Like you can do like a whole like, hey, what's up guys? I'm blogging to drive myself across the country to go fight my father. And like you can like do a whole thing.
That could be a thing.
And you can monetize your pain, you know? Which is kind of what we're doing right now, aren't we? Except without the money coming in. Like there's no we're actually we're
seen a penny.
We're deeply in the red.
How about you, man? How about your parents are on vacation in the vacation land of Maine?
Okay, that's
and
right.
You need to get your revenge tour going. Do you go with the Viper too, or do you do the comfy ride? Well,
so here's
be more.
My
rested.
thought is but I also have to think. I have to drive it back, right?
Well,
unless I sell it there and fly home.
Unless your dad beats your ass and you don't.
That's true, and he takes it.
Yeah,
he takes it and just drops a log on my chest because
he could.
Yeah. And then takes this. My dad stole my Viper.
I am concerned about your concept of family fights.
Well, you have to assert dominance. One has to assert dominance.
You can't win until you do something
on your child's chest. Boy, watch. This is all prologue for like 30 years from now. My son drives cross country to assault me and
drop a log.
Yeah, in a 2045 Dodge Viper or something.
You said prologue.
Yeah, exactly. Past his prologue. You know, I think I would take the coward's way out and go Lexus.
Okay.
Because it would be like if I decided to drive back after I had like come down off of my like, you know, whatever we're calling this fisticuffs scenario, of fighting a family member, living or dead, versus. And also things to consider on the way back, like if I've got like broken knuckles and I'm like, you know, a black eye or whatever, like I don't want to like get back into a Viper. Like that sounds like, and then drive 3,000 miles. That seems like a bad approach. So I think I'm gonna take the coward's way out and go Lexus LS. Not take the coward's way out, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, you still beat your dad's ass, so
yeah,
and drop that triumphant turd on his chest, apparently.
Yeah, exactly.
Good one.
Good times. Yeah, this we went deeply off the rails, and I'm okay with that. What you got for me?
That was a tough one. I think this is the last one on my list too. So I call this one street cred.
Okay.
Your options are: would you rather have your daily have an obnoxious burble tune, insanely loud pops, and flames coming out of your exhaust? This is your daily.
Okay.
So apply that to whatever your daily is going to be. That's the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Or have a completely tasteless, tacked on body kit, side skirts, giant wing, fender flares, etc. Note that I said tasteless, so it can't match. It can be discolored. It's going to be all kinds of things. It's not going to look appropriate.
Pep Boys catalog only.
Yeah, double-sided tape, baby.
Sheet metal screws.
Your choice, man. Obnoxious burble tune with the flames and pops, or body kit. Daily, my friend.
Man,
your choice. Would you rather? Oof.
It's a tough one. I almost want to go like flames and burble tune. And can I make one assumption that neither of these things will get me pulled over and or arrested?
Yeah, we'll say they're legal. They're legal modifications.
Okay. Yeah, I've got some kind of special. I have it's got a manufacturer's plate on it, whatever I'm driving in, so I can just do whatever.
Carb legal.
Here's the thing I'm thinking of is either one of these would greatly influence whatever car I would then have, right?
Yes.
So like having a burble tune Ferrari F50.
Oh, fair enough. Okay. I'm talking daily.
It's different than a shitty body, like obscene, like abusively installed body kit on a Ferrari F50.
Apply it to your current daily then to make it a little more challenging. Which both of these things do not.
So a Burbletoon LS430, Burbletoon Flame LS430, or Shithouse Body Kit LS430.
Horrible.
I'm gonna do it, and I'm not happy about it, but I'm gonna do the Burbletoon Fireball shooter. Let's go.
It's horrible.
Let's go. I mean, it's more obnoxious. Like, I'd feel like an asshole. Like, oh man, I have to drive to go pick up someone at the airport at like 1 a.m. in my neighborhood, and I'm just like started.
Pow, snap.
Like, I feel like such a douche
with such an insulated, quiet running vehicle.
I know. All right, fine. No, I don't. I hate
It's
all of
really
this.
hard.
I hate all of this so much, so deeply. God. All right, fine. No, I hate it all. I'm sticking to my guns. I'm doing the Burbletoon, but I will. If I have to go anywhere at night, I suppose I'm just not even gonna drive. I'm just gonna Uber, like out of shame. Like the one time a year I have to go somewhere at like 4 a.m.
Bro,
I'm just gonna. I'll know ahead of time, and I'll park at the Safeway like a block and a half from my house, and then I'll just walk over there.
God, your
Walk of
cold
shame.
start at like 6 a.m.
Like lighting my neighbor's lawn on fire.
Jesus, dude.
Yeah, I just it all sucks, but I think I'm doing that versus like the front wings skipping off the ground at all times, and
fake fender flares tacked on.
Yeah, portholes and roof scoops. Shitty tint to match I don't know. I know you didn't say that, but it feels like it would be appropriate, like the bubbly failing
Purple.
tint on the back window. Yeah.
Purple tint, yep.
Purple nurple. How about you? What are you doing? You're doing the body kit, aren't you?
So this is tough right now where I'm having the Mini Cooper S as my daily. I think the Burbletoon kind of goes with that
it tracks a little bit.
Yeah, it kind of does. It's still annoying, and I would never do that to a car. But I have to say, for me as well, Burbletoon those fake body kits are rough, but it depends, right? Like if I had something stupid, like
the raw plastic that's been sitting in the sun, like unpainted, so bad,
dude, it's so bad. Yeah, Burbletoon, but good lord, yours is like more offensive. It's just the car. It's just,
I mean, it's offensive for all of them, but like
it is.
Yeah.
But I feel like the Mini's kind of has enough attitude that it can carry off a Burbletoon.
Yeah.
But God, some of these tunes are so obnoxious. It literally sounds like gunfire. It's like pow, pow, pow. It's like, oh man, that sounds sweet.
Yeah, it's just like, why do you hate? You're like, you have no regard for anyone. Like...
I told you about that. I told you I saw that G35 with both of these things. It had like the body kit, like the tacked on.
Oh,
body
that's
kit,
G30.
Spoiler.
The G35s and 37s have quickly become like the scummer ride of choice here in California.
Such a good car too, and it's in its roots.
Yeah, I mean they're not like a perfect car, but they're pretty solid. Like you can get one with a manual, they're fast enough. Like they're whatever. But then like missing bumper covers and
dude, this is the one with that fake body kit. So it had the double like giant cutouts around the exhaust, and the bumper was like weirdly. Had like I don't even know what to call it. It just had a bunch of shit hanging off of it.
Yep.
And the flames, when it would stop in traffic, the flames would lick straight up, and the bumper was completely melted like a waterfall around the exhaust.
Melted and like sooty. Yeah.
It was horrible, but it was equally awesome to watch. So
good times. Yeah. So I've got one more. I actually had it as two questions, but I'm gonna combine them into one.
Oh.
Which would you rather have? A Ferrari F50. However, it has a full human leather interior, which was harvested from children in the third world.
Okay.
Or
so it's supple.
It's like
extremely supple.
Unnervingly comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah, like you can almost feel the sorrow in the leather interior.
I like a good sorrow.
And it's like a patchwork of like different different. It's like and bear with me. I'm recently back from Disney World, but like when you go through It's a Small World.
Yeah.
And you've got the different regions of the world and all the dolls that are singing. That song that gets stuck in your head for 72 hours. They all have their ethnicities match from the different regions from around the world, and as does your interior.
I can only get so hard, dude.
Exactly. Yeah. Just as hard as this question. So it's either that But you're like you take delivery of your blood diamond on wheels.
Not allowed to change it out, I'm assuming.
No, it's just there.
Okay.
It's like that for life.
Okay, fair enough.
And for the lives of those dearly departed children that were harvested for your interior.
Noble sacrifice.
It is. Or an F40, but you have to live in a rooftop tent on top of that F40 for a full 365 days before it vests and then it becomes yours. And then afterwards, the rooftop tent stays there, but you don't have to live in it. But the rooftop tent is always on top of the F40.
Okay.
So I guess it's either you get to experience the pain of living on the roof of an F40 for a calendar year, or you get to sublet your pain out to the children in the third world that died for your leather interior of your F50.
So, man, some initial thoughts. Don't use this as a barometer for my moral bearing, but you don't have to tell anyone it's kids.
I'm trying to figure out if there's ways that you can tell, like, they're like obviously like human pelt shaped, like on your passenger seat. Like
one of the kids was wearing a mitten and it got embroidered into the seat.
Yeah, there's a tiny child hand leather palm on the
friendship
dashboard
bracelet. Jeez, man, that's tough to say because
is that a human nipple? You're like, shut up.
You
want to ride in my F50 or what?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go. I do like the F40 a bit more out of the two. Living on the rooftop 10.
The opposite. I think I prefer an F50 car to car.
I think F50 is the better performer, but I think the F40 looks so much better. I love how the F40.
Yeah, that's fair. F40. I mean, they're both impossibly cool.
The roof would have to support the tent, so hopefully there's some reinforcement there because I guarantee I can't lay on an F40 roof. I would do, and I like camping, sure. And then I got an exotic car that I can build kind of like an overland fun build after. Sure, I kind of feel like that. I honestly don't. I don't know, man. Like,
look. On the other hand, child leather.
Yeah, like I said, like I can convince myself also that it's made of something else. But
one is you sleep on the tent of your Ferrari on the roof. The other one is you never sleep again.
Yeah, all I can hear is their cries in the night.
Exactly. I gotta say, it's like a human version of an ortolan. Like if you know what that is.
Like it's not gonna work because. Especially when you said it's all different ethnicities, like that would just look weird. And
yeah, it has to be a patchwork of sorrow. Like it has to be an equal opportunity pain game.
Equally dark option. You get to go to Ferrari and request a specific ethnicity for your child leather seat. That's equally dark
for a 50% discount.
Right. So F40 rooftop 10. Gotta go with it, dude. Go with it.
I mean, I'm pretty confident that you're right.
Yeah,
I don't.
The moral high road was adhered to
because you kind of get to be like, you can kind of be cool. Like to some people, that's pretty cool to be
pretty cool. Yeah.
Versus if you have the child slave leather interior.
Well, to be fair,
you'd be infamous for sure.
To some people, that would be cool too.
But like, not really the people I don't think I would want to associate with at the various like gatherings of like I don't. You'd probably get it would you'd be hitting the Juggalo community at the Juggalo Island or I don't know, like it would be nice to not have to endure a year of sleeping on a tent on a roof. How about, does it change your mind if the F50 exists with the human leather, the child human leather, specific leather interior? If that, let's say it exists regardless. So it's not like if you pick the F40, the children never get filleted. It's just
doesn't change anything, dude. There's war crimes exist, child predators.
I know. It's
just because I choose not to take part in those things doesn't make it, If
you have that car, can you claim yourself as vegan if you also like don't drink milk?
I don't know.
Like I don't know. A long story short is I suppose F40. I'm with you, even though I prefer the F50 because V12.
But the F40, it's what's cool is people see the tent on an F40, they're like, yeah, right. But if you can like back it up that you spend an entire year camping on your F40, that's legit, right? Like,
however, if someone looks in your F50 and they're like, is that child leather? Yeah, right. Like
okay,
they would.
that raises. I'm not gonna. We're bringing up other questions in your comments, Frank. But if that brings up that person's background that can identify human leather.
Yep, smells strictly child.
So
Yeah, no. I
innocent.
ultimately this is a fun, if not profoundly disheartening exercise.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would sleep in a tent on the top of my F40 because that implies that I would be able to sleep. Because if I had child leather and anything really,
Well,
or even if I was vaguely aware of the existence of a child leather F40
combo round, your seat warmers are stuck on 24/7 with your child leather.
Oh no.
Okay, we better put a fork
Why'd
in
you
this.
set it to 98.6 degrees? This is so creepy. Yeah, give me the F40.
Can we do
Can
an
I give you
automotive?
Can
Can
I
we do
give
an
you
automotive
something?
Pred quiz, please?
Can I give you a quiz?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll
I'm gonna
explain
cue this up. You
Yeah.
explain it.
I got you, man. So our game is an automotive print ad quiz game where we read ads, automotive ads from the 80s, 90s, early 2000s from various publications, print journals, magazines of the era.
Mm-hmm.
Our goal is the reader to mask what vehicle they're talking about by not giving it away, obviously by reading the ad. But the other person has 3 guesses. In this time around, I think it's me guessing, which is going to be challenging.
Yeah.
Frank always dredges up something horrible for me to guess. But I got 3 guesses. I do get hints when I do get a wrong answer. And I have to get to the make and model. Trim is bonus usually for us. 10 minutes on the clock as soon as Frank is done with the ad. And let's play our automotive print ad quiz game, Frank.
Let's do it. Wah, 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 wah.
I'm a little
So, we have this is a 2-pager.
Oh.
The top 2/3 is a near passenger side profile of the vehicle. The wheels are turning; they're slightly motion blurred. It's a wet road. It is a red vehicle, and just above the actual photo of the car, it says, "The road is calling. Here's your answering machine." The all-new 24-valve V6 blank. If you've been looking for the perfect response to the call of the road, here's your answer. The new 24-valve blank. Hit play. Just turn the key and you'll get the one message you need to hear. The sound of the blank's 24-valve, multi-port fuel-injected V6 engine.
Did you say 24 valve 5 times yet?
Only 3, but don't wait. There's still more time.
Oh, perfect.
There is. Designed for smooth acceleration and true responsiveness. This V6 says, quote, pure sports coupe, end quote, mile after mile. Inside, the cockpit has plenty of room for the serious driver. Carefully drawn details range from simpler, driver-oriented controls to an available CD player. A message about safety. And to let you answer the call with no reservations, the blank has available anti-lock brakes and standard driver's airbag. Airbags, in conjunction with properly worn safety belts, are one of the most effective restraint systems available. The blank. Leave a message of your own. For more, call 1-800, and what's interesting is the 1-800 number, and this is not a great hint, but it's interesting, is 1-800, then the model name and the last 2 digits of the year.
Oh, okay.
Which is interesting. I'm curious what happens if we call it. Maybe I should put my phone on speaker when we're done here, and we should call the number and see what happens.
Yeah.
And then that's it. And then it has a little logo off to the side. And so this is it.
Grab my phone and put 10 minutes on the clock.
Grab your clocks if you see Tupac.
Here we go. 10 minutes, counting down. I have an alarm that will sound. Okay. 24 valve.
That's what they told us several times.
Yeah, to get it across. that kind of technology. So we're not. I don't think we're in the 80s. Just based on that, that's going to be some 90s ish right there.
Mm-hmm.
As far as country of origin, this is where I'm a little confused on this one, and for good reason probably.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't sound European to me, man. The way that ad came across.
Sure.
I'm thinking we're dealing with Japan, which is probably my first inkling that we're dealing with Japan, and then domestic is my second inkling. Man, this is tough.
Sports coupe.
The fact that it's a coupe is cool. It didn't mention like convertible or anything, so I'm not thinking like. I think that's probably why they called it sports coupe, or an option of a convertible.
I'll just give you. There was never an option of a convertible in this car.
Gotcha. So, and it doesn't say that there's a 4-door version either. So sometimes they have a coupe variant of a popular 4-door, and there could be another model. Sometimes we run across this a lot where there's a model, but there was no like cross reference of like, this is more sporty than our, sometimes they do that, right?
Well, they do call it a quote, pure sports coupe, end quote.
Okay. Which also makes me think it is only available in 2-door. So, because they usually say something stupid like the 4-door is less, this is more rigid than our 4-door or whatever the thing here. Man, this makes me think. I really want to think Mazda. Mazda had a sports coupe 24 valve vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take our shot. Let's take a shot. So I'm thinking this is a front-wheel drive Japanese car with a 24 valve engine, and I have to say, sir, that we today are talking about the Mazda MX-6. Final answer.
It is not the Mazda MX-6. I believe we've already done the MX-6, but I think of the previous generation. I think
we did the earlier
one.
Is
correct.
This the 90s one? This would be the more like rounded.
That's exactly what you're barking up.
Yep.
It is not the Mazda MX-6.
Okay.
However, the hint I will give you, which might be giving you too much, but I will let you draw that conclusion, because you deserve something for how close you got. You could not get closer. Certainly not mechanically.
Okay. So that makes me think, just like we did with the older one, this car has a stablemate with an American badge, is what I'm thinking. So I'm not going to waste any more of our audience's time. This was the other 50-50 half of this. It has to be the Ford Probe, which is the exact mechanical doppelganger to the MX-6, and it's got to be from the year 1990. I want to say 4 or 5. Final answer: Ford Probe 95.
You got to guess on trim.
It's going to be the Ford Probe GT.
It is the Ford Probe GT, and one could call 1-800-PROBE-93.
That's dangerous.
It's exactly. So let's
make sure it's
ask first.
It's 1-800 probe me.
Exactly. 800 PROBE-93.
Something good.
Okay, let me get this on speaker. Hold on.
Yeah, put it right next to your mic.
Oops. Hold on. I don't want to turn Bluetooth on. I pushed the wrong button.
And please listen carefully as our menu options may have changed. Calls are recorded for quality assurance. Oprima 9 para española.
Sí.
We're very excited to tell you about a special promotion for select callers. This will only take a moment. By answering just a few questions, we will find out if this offer is right for you.
Oh boy.
Are we getting a free probe?
What are my questions?
Manual?
Someone in your household 50 years of age or older?
Oh no, it's a telemarketer. Get out of there.
You or someone in your household is 50 years of age or older.
I'm going to say yes.
Otherwise, press pound.
Yes.
That's fair.
Oh.
Thank you for calling the Medical Alert Center. This is Jessica on a recorded line. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, hi. I was looking to purchase a 1993 Ford Probe. I called 1-800-PROBE-93. Do you have any of those available at the moment?
Great. So with our promotion,
the recording.
you actually have the opportunity to receive a free medical alert device.
Oh.
So congratulations.
That was a feature. Okay, that's enough.
All right, I don't think we're getting anywhere. I want my Probe, damn it.
Is that like OnStar before for G or Ford instead of GM?
Well, if it's yeah, but like for people, because it's medical alert, right? So like you've got the help I've fallen and I can't get up. It's like people OnStar.
Wait, would it be for if your pop-up headlights stay up longer than 4 hours? Use your medical alert device?
You need to consult a trained professional mechanic. Well, all right. Well, that was fun. Should we make that a new game now? Is every time?
Oh God, that's a horrible idea.
We get to call the number. I like it.
Well, will you tell me how much spam calls you get and texts after that call?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely on a list. I'm gonna get like 15 calls over the course of the next hour. Well, on that note, well done.
Thanks,
sir.
Man. Well, it was 50-50. That's ballpark. Those were the coupes of the 24 valve V6, which was a big deal. Was I right on the year too?
You were close. You said 94 or 95, and it's a 93.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, same difference.
Same deal.
I just wonder. First off, those cars are kind of dope. I think it'd be really cool to have a clean Forb.
Yeah.
Forb Pro'd GT. Yeah, or MX6. Like I've always thought the MX6 were like sneaky cool.
They are cool.
Get the M edition one in that like purpley color.
Kind of have an RX-7 shape to them, bloated, but
bit.
still,
yeah. So either one of those would be cool to have. I haven't seen a very clean one in eons.
Yeah.
But those are fun. So I would mess around with one of those.
The almost Mustang replacement
with my with my my medical alert bracelet. So should we celebrate with some PCP? I guess I'm talking, so I'll just go first, I suppose.
Project Car Progress. Looking at you, Mark, in the corner. I know you. This guy's over here eyeballing me. I know he's wearing a wire. It's Project Car Progress. Okay, go ahead.
Darn it.
We just say PCP so many times. I'm actually worried someone's gonna pick up on something.
I know exactly. It's. I've got spam calls. You've got the government listening in on you.
No surprise.
What I've been up to besides staying insanely busy. So my aforementioned daily, the LS 430.
Yeah.
I've not actually had an opportunity to push it into daily driver status. As it turns out, the paperwork is still kind of up in the air for me to register it into my name.
Okay.
Because when people die, the paperwork changes a little bit. So there's a death certificate out there that's waiting in the weeds, and so that has not come through yet. And then, at which case, then I can actually register it. So I have been floating around with the Civic, which I believe we talked about before on how right after we recorded about it, a huge gust of wind, like hours later, picked up a huge awning and dropped it on top of the car. And,
we did cover that right after you said you're getting rid of it.
Exactly. I'm going to get a new daily. I'm getting this Lexus. It's really cool. And then genuinely less than 24 hours later, a big old, a giant pop-up tent, so to speak, fell on it. Minor damage. I cashed out $3,800.
Yeah, you said you came ahead on that one. Yeah.
So I've come ahead on it, and then just last week, someone left a note on it. Strangely enough, interested in buying it, which that's a weird car for someone to like leave a note, because it's a Honda Civic Hybrid. It's like not a car that is like sought after and people leave notes on. Like I've had plenty of those cars that get the note left on it.
Right.
And so I called the guy, and he's interested in it, and I floated by him like a price of like $5,500, which I would take in a heartbeat. I'd take $4,500, honestly. And he didn't bat an eyelash. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm busy this week, but maybe I'll come out next week." So and that was last week. So maybe sometime this week I can meet up with this guy and clean it up. And I told him about the check engine light for the evap solenoid on the tank and things like that. So I might try and take care of that this week to be done with it. I've just been so freaking busy. It hasn't really gotten a hold of my attention yet. So progress is progress, not great progress, but a little bit. And
yeah,
so
that's good. Good.
That's what's cooking. How about you, homie?
Yeah, man. So the last update I gave was the 300ZX twin turbo water pump exploding. So I had ordered all those parts. I ended up replacing the fan blades, the clutch, fan, thermostat, because it's all right there, right? And I'm exposing the timing belt water pump. I'm going to do all that stuff at once. Actually, not that bad. Once you get the radiator out of there and get access to the engine, it's all right in the front. There's plenty of space. Everything else on the car is very tricky. It was actually more tricky to replace the power steering pump than to do a timing belt. But I got another water pump. The funny thing was this was all Nissan, man. OEM water pump, the timing belt, all done at a Nissan dealership 2.5 years ago with 20,000 miles. Unbelievable.
Weird.
The water pump. So the water pump broke internally, and as I spun it on the inside, the blades were touching the housing inside. So no doubt that's what made this horrible sound. And then the fan blades got all chipped up, obviously hitting the I think it's the harmonic balancer pulley they were hitting, and that steel wins against plastic fan blades every day. So just to be safe, I replaced the clutch and the fan clutch and the fan blades, which is a real pain in the butt to do, but finding the right one. So she's driving fine now after another 6 hours of labor put into it. The coolant where it belongs, and the car drives like a dream. It's like unbelievable for 200,000, about to hit 200,000 miles. Might have hit it yesterday, actually. It really just motors well. It's a well-built car. I think Nissan overbuilt those things anyway, but great Z car.
Yeah, I like those cars, and they there's some cars I'm afraid of mileage on, and that's not one of them. And I know those cars have kind of a knack for like, there's some maintenance concerns and they're hard to work on, and yeah, there's some of that, but I mean they're pretty stout. They're well built. It was their flagship back when they were making true flagships with titanium keys and good build quality, and so. Yeah, I would trust that car, especially in knowing the work you've put into it.
Good maintenance history, good in the condition overall, like well taken care of car. So yeah, that was me fixing up 300ZX twin turbos, the easy stuff.
Yeah, right. And then retracing your steps over a whole bunch of the work and just, I don't know.
Fun. Well, let's kill it. Let's kill this episode.
Let's do it.
Thank you to all the listeners out there. We have all 5 of you recognized. I
know that, and also I would just like to already apologize for all of the skinning of children talk this week. We'll have to I don't know, maybe we'll move to tweens next week. I don't know, when it comes to like harvesting humanity for our own personal gain and leather interiors. I don't know.
That's a morality improvement. We can try to flip that one.
One day. I was
gonna say baby steps, but
yeah. Well, hey. Well, one day we'll march all the way into like peak morality when we'll just be talking about skinning the elderly. Anyways, thanks for listening, everybody.
Ruffled leather.
Exactly. Oh boy. Yeah, it's thin. Thanks for tagging along. If you want to keep participating, you know where to find us. That's wherever you find your favorite podcast or your least favorite, like this one.
Yeah.
So do that. Another Pointless Automotive Podcast. We are on the YouTubes and the Instagrams at APA Podcast. And Chadwick, where can you be found besides the clubs?
Yeah.
The
always in the clubs. Auto Obsessive Garage, all my rescue and restoration of turd boxes, reviews from time to time. Check me out on there. Instagram as well. And Frank, where can the good folks follow you?
I'm at the Photographer's Garage on all of the things and here on this pod. So do that too.
That too.
Goodbye, guys.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for playing. Let's do it again, shall we?
Bye.
Bye-bye.